Hello everyone, my name is Adam and I like trains. Now, I really hope you can hear me over all the planes because today we are here at Haneda International Airport, also known as the Tokyo International Airport, to do a little bit of a challenge. Now, in my last video where I visited all the Tokyo subway stations in one day, I talked about the Asakusa line, which allows you to go from here at Haneda Airport all the way out to Narita Airport in Chiba without changing trains. Now, I'll be honest, when I wrote that part of the script, I didn't exactly fact check it. So that's why I'm here at Haneda today to do exactly that, to go from Haneda Airport to Narita Airport without changing trains. Of course, you can go from one airport to the other, making any number of transfers you want, but I want to see if it's possible to do it in just one train without having to get off. Because if you need to make this connection, you've got a bunch of bags with you, not having to change trains could be a very beneficial thing. So we've got a bit of time before my train that I need to get leaves, so we'll go around and explore Haneda a bit, and I'll let you know a little bit more about what this airport is. Now, if you do ever come to Haneda, you definitely need to come to the flight deck here if you've got some time to kill. Just being able to watch the planes come and go is something that's really special. And on a day like today, where yes, it is a weekday, and yes, it is over 90 degrees right now, there's not that many people here, so you can watch the planes come and go as your heart desires.
So let's talk a bit about Haneda, shall we? It first opened as an airport in 1931 as Haneda Airfield. But after World War II, the airport was taken over by the US occupation, and it wasn't given back to the Japanese government until 1952, when it then reopened as Tokyo International Airport. However, following the opening of Narita Airport in 1978, Haneda became fully domestic. No international flights took off or landed from the airport. And it would remain this way for over 30 years, until following the completion of Terminal 3, where I am now, international flights returned to Haneda. In 2023, the first year after pandemic-era restrictions were lifted, Haneda saw 78 million passengers, although 61 million of these were domestic. It's one of only two airports in Tokyo on the mainland that operates passenger service, the other being the Chofu Airfield out in Chofu in the west of Tokyo.
So the train we need to take is this top one that says to City Center Narita Airport towards Shinagawa, and then all the way through at 12:27. They didn't actually let me use my Passmo for this, so I had to go ahead and buy this little paper ticket, which is fine because it's a nice little visual representation of going from Haneda to Narita. But I just find it interesting that they don't let you do this on the touch card. You have to buy a physical ticket for it. So these trains that leave from Haneda and go all the way to Narita leave about every 40 minutes on weekdays on the 7, so 27, 47, 27, 47, from basically like 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., kind of those non-peak hours. But I think there's a little over 20 trains a day on both weekdays and weekends. So this is just one of those 20 trains that we're going to be taking today.
As my train pulls in, let's talk about how to get to and from Haneda Airport, also so I can use this footage from the monorail that I took earlier. There's three main ways to get to Haneda. The first is a taxi. Taxis operate on a fixed charge depending on the ward of Tokyo you're in when you hail it. These prices can range from around 7,000 yen if you're coming from Chiyoda Ward in central Tokyo to nearly 12,000 yen if you're coming from Nerima Ward out west. But of course, if you're splitting that with another person, the cost per person is definitely a lot lower. The next option is a bus. A fleet of so-called limousine buses run from the airport to many of the major stations around Tokyo. To go from Haneda to central parts of Tokyo like Shinjuku, it's only about 1,400 yen per person. And you get the general comfort of a bus and not having to worry about dragging your luggage around the train system. The final and cheapest option is the train. There's actually two trains you can take to the airport. The first is the monorail, which is what we've been riding. It leaves from Hamamatsucho Station on the eastern part of the Yamanote line and takes as little as 13 minutes to reach Terminal 3 station. Plus, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., trains leave every 5 minutes, and it's built to accommodate luggage. The other option is the line we're taking to leave, the KQ Airport line. These trains stop at Shinagawa, so if you need a bullet train heading south, it's your best bet. Trains leave every 3 to 7 minutes during the day, and every 2 to 8 minutes during the evening. This is the cheapest option, costing just 510 yen to get to Shibuya from the airport. But because the trains can also be so crowded, it's possibly the least convenient way if you have a lot of bags, so just be warned. On this train that I'm taking from Haneda, we'll go over 5 different lines: the KQ Airport line, the Toei Asakusa line, the Hokkōsu Railway, the Keisei Main Line, and the Keisei Airport Access Line. Our first spot where the lines change is Sengakuji, where we can switch to Asakusa Line trains. But of course, we'll be staying on. The next place the lines change is at Oshiage, where we join the Keisei Main Line. Again, we're not changing here, although we'll be more or less staying on the Keisei lines for the rest of the trip. After Oshiage comes Aoto, where we start sharing tracks with the Hokkōsu Railway and the Narita Sky Access Line. We still aren't changing trains though, as we continue through northern Tokyo coming to Keisei Takasago, where we even get a brief appearance from the Keisei Skyliner, the fastest non-bullet train in all of Japan. Speaking of the Skyliner, let's talk about the ways to get to and from Narita Airport. The first, and what I think is the best option, is the train. There's two trains, the Skyliner, being operated by Keisei, and the Narita Express, operated by JR. The Skyliner takes just 41 minutes to bring you from Narita to Keisei's Ueno Station. A ticket will cost you 2,580 yen one way. The other option, the Narita Express, costs 3,070 yen, so a little more expensive, but you can't buy a round-trip ticket if you'll be flying back from Narita at 5,000 yen each round trip. While the Skyliner stops at Ueno, the Narita Express stops at more major stations like Tokyo, Shinjuku, and some trains even run down towards Kanagawa, stopping at Yokohama. The next option is a bus. The limousine buses return with a 3,100 yen, 70-minute trip to Tokyo Station. There's also the Tionert bus, which costs just 1,500 yen, so definitely the cheapest way to get into central Tokyo. Your final option is taking a taxi. But, don't. A taxi from Tokyo to Narita is a minimum 19,000 yen, but can go as high as 27,000 yen for the Western Special Wards. Or, if you need to go all the way to Hachioji for some reason, you'll pay 44,000 yen. So, while I'm not your dad, I don't recommend taking the taxi here from Narita as much as I would coming from Haneda.
Right, and with that, we have gone all the way from Haneda Airport to Narita Airport on one train. The KQ Airport line, the Asakusa line, the Keisei Main Line, and then the Keisei Narita Access Line. 4 lines, 1 train, 1.5 hours. Now, if you don't mind me, I'm gonna go find a place to eat the sandwich that I bought all the way back at Haneda Airport and haven't had time to eat, and we'll check back in right after that.
So now that we finally made it to Narita, let's talk a bit about it. It opened in 1978, despite fierce resistance by the locals, in order to serve mainly international flights. Even after Haneda began taking international flights in 2010, 23 million of Narita's 31 million passengers in 2023 were international, so the airport continues its primary purpose of being internationally focused. It's also massive. I don't think I've ever seen an airport terminal with this many check-in gates. But maybe it's lacking a bit of, I don't know, whimsy? It all feels a little too corporate for me. But the pure scale of Narita cannot be understated. It's so big that it hides away its own little secret spot, where I think we'll do some catching up.
If there's any train nerds or any jet lag fans out there, you know exactly where I am. Look at this. Higashi Narita Station, sandwiched in between Narita's Terminal 2 and Terminal 3 station and Terminal 1 station, Higashi Narita. Just look at this. Eesh, completely abandoned, frozen in the Showa era. What an incredible little place. But yes, it is most definitely possible to go from Haneda to Narita on one train. And not only is it possible, it's easy to do. It takes an hour and a half, and there's trains that leave Haneda every 40 minutes, and I'd assume it's about the same for here in Narita, but I didn't check the timetable, so I can't guarantee that. But I will say, after coming here by train, you definitely, if you're coming to or from Narita, want to take the train here. Maybe not here at Higashi Narita, but with the Narita Express and the Keisei Skyliner, plus just the Keisei Access Airport line, it's definitely worth taking the train here. Haneda, maybe touch and go between the buses and the trains and the taxis, but definitely take the train if you're coming to Narita. That being said, if you made it this far in the video, you probably enjoyed it, so a like or a subscription to my channel would be a great thing. Also, take a chance and look at some of my other videos as well if you are interested in this type of content. With that being said, from the Showa era to the present. My name is Adam, I like trains, and I'm glad you do too. Take care and goodbye.